What's up, you guys? Hey, welcome back to my channel. Since you read the title, you already know what's about to go down. Let's just jump right into the video. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is just fold my pants in half, make sure it's even, and I want to cut straight across because I had so much fabric to work with. I decided to for the top part, I was just gonna put it to the side so I could make a fitted skirt, and I was gonna use the pants leg to make my bucket hat. Okay, for one of the pants leg, I am just gonna turn it inside out, and I am just going to cut open one side of the seam. Just cut open one side, okay, so you can have like a bigger piece to work with. Then I'm gonna take my patterns. If you don't have a bucket hat pattern, just use a bucket hat that you already have. You could trace that out. Okay, so now I'm just cutting out my pieces. I need 2 of the headbands and 4 of the brim piece, and you want to make sure for the brim and headband you're laying it on the fold. That's why I have that piece and I didn't cut it. So you just want to make sure you're laying it on the fold so you can have a bigger piece when you open it up, okay, if that makes any sense. So now I'm just taking the 2 headband pieces and I'm putting right side facing each other, and you're just going to pin on each side, okay, and then we're going to start hand stitching. Okay, so yeah, once you do that, grab your needle and your thread. Okay, so you want to use a thread that's the same color as your fabric, and I am just going to put the thread through the eye of the needle, and you want to make sure it's even. So you have 2 pieces, so you want to make sure it's even. Then you're gonna cut it, and then you're gonna just tie a knot at the end. You want to make sure this is a good kind of like a good size knot, so when you stick the needle through the fabric, it doesn't come through all the way through the fabric. Okay, so yeah, so just tying a knot like so. This is how I tie my knots, but you could tie them however you want. Okay, so you have something like this. Perfect. Now it's time to start sewing. Okay, so you're just gonna insert the needle through the fabric and pull it through the other side, and then to secure it, I'm just gonna basically insert the needle through the fabric again, and then I'm gonna go over it at least 2 to 3 times just to make sure it's secure and it doesn't come undone. Okay, so and that is what I'm doing right now. I'm even wrapping the thread around the needle a few times and pulling it through just to make sure it doesn't come undone. Okay, it's very important that you secure the thread as much as possible because you're hand stitching, so it could come loose and undone anytime. Okay, so now I'm just gonna keep moving forward and just sticking the needle through the fabric and going back and doing it over. Okay, I'm sticking it over the same spot twice just to make sure it's secure and in place and perfect so it won't come undone. Okay, it's super simple. Okay, I promise you this is so simple. So you're just sticking the needle through the fabric and coming on the other side like this. This fabric was kind of tough, so I was kind of having a hard time because this is like denim like material, and then we're going over the same spot over and sticking it through and pulling it through, and you're just going to repeat this process over and over and over again till you have both sides stitched down. Okay, so we're coming to the end, and I'm going to show you guys how to secure the thread. So yeah, pulling it through, wrapping it around a few times before I pulled it all the way through, and then pulling it all the way through, and boom. So that creates like a knot, and you really should have something like this. Look how it looks, simple and clean. When you're hand stitching, it does not have to be perfect because you're not going to be able to see it anyway. So like, take your time. Don't feel bad because it doesn't look straight or it doesn't look perfect. No one is going to notice it. Okay, so once I clip the end of the fabric, the end of the thread, I end up tying it a few times just to make sure it's secure and doesn't come undone. Okay, and that is how it looks, you guys. So this is the headband piece. Now I'm gonna take my circle piece, okay, and you want to put right side facing each other, and you are just going to pin all the way around to make sure it's on, it's even, everything's lined up perfectly. Yes, so just pin all the way around. Okay, so you should have something like this once you get done pinning everything. you guys. So it's coming together. So we have the top circle part together and we have the headband piece together. Now we're just going to sew around that top part. And yes, so just gonna sew and basically doing the same thing, inserting the needle and kind of pulling it through the other side like this. And we're gonna do this all the way through. And remember to secure it, so go over it a few times, go over the same spot a few times just to make sure it doesn't come undone. And yes, and then we're going to keep doing the same stitch all the way around till you get to the other side. Alright, you guys, so we're basically done. I am just going to secure this stitch, just inserting the needle in the same spot over and over just to make sure it doesn't come undone. Basically, this is like my lock stitch, you know. But yeah, this is how it looks so far, you guys. Like I said, don't worry about, you know, the stitch not being straight. You won't be able to tell when you turn it right side out. So we're basically almost done. We got the circle part and the headband pieces together. Now we are going to work on the brim piece, okay? So you had 4 brim pieces, so you're gonna put 2 of them together, right side facing each other. So at the end, you'll end up having 2 big circles together. So now we're gonna be doing the same stitch that we've been doing, and just to secure each side, you're gonna just do the same stitch, inserting it through and pulling it through the other side, and then going back over that stitch, okay? So I'm basically done, and I'm just gonna tie the knot and clean it off. And to make everything better, I'm just trimming and removing the extra fabric, you guys. This is, like I said, it's super easy. So this is how it looks after it was sewn together, and you should have 2 of these pieces, you guys. Okay, so once you sew the other piece together, you're going to line the stitches together. So I'm lining the original stitch and my new stitch together, okay? So line all the stitches together, and then we're going to sew around it, okay? Since this was, you know, thicker, you know, because it's 2 of the fabrics together, this part was kind of hard, but I recommend just using a heavy duty needle, a thicker needle. But yeah, we're gonna be doing the same stitch over and over, just inserting the needle through and pulling it out on the other side just to sew around the brim piece, okay? And that is how it looks, you guys. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then once you turn it right side out, it should look like this. And if you want to go ahead and iron this part together just so it could lay flat, because you really want this to lay flat together so it could fit perfectly. So I just went ahead and just did a straight stitch, a hand straight stitch around the brim part just to keep it, you know, just to keep it laying flat. And that is how I was doing it, just inserting the needle through the other side and pulling it out, okay? And now I'm gonna insert the needle again. So this is kind of like a back stitch. Really, it's called a back stitch. Like I said, this was really thick, so I had a kind of like a hard time with this. But yeah, just insert the needle through the other side, pull it through, and then insert it again forward, and that would complete the stitch, you guys. And I'm gonna do this all the way around, and it's just gonna give it like a nicer look. It's gonna lay flatter. You could just iron this, you know, you don't have to do this part, but I thought it made it kind of look a little better, even though the stitch were raggedy, but still. So I'm basically almost done. And I wanted to show you guys one more time what exactly I was doing to achieve this stitch look. Okay guys, so this is how it turned out once everything was sewn together. And what I'm just going to do is just trim off that extra fabric that's like hanging around. You want to make sure everything is even before you sew that bucket hat top part piece. Okay, so you want to make sure everything is lined up perfectly. Okay, so now you want to take the top piece and you're going to insert it through the hole. Okay, and then you're gonna take the brim, which is the bottom piece, and you're just gonna flip it over like this. Okay, and you want to make sure everything is lined up perfectly. Okay, like I'm so serious about this. You want to make sure everything is lined up perfectly, and then you're going to pin all the way around, you guys. And that is basically it. I didn't film this stitch part because it's literally the same stitch that we've been doing through the whole video. So once you pin all the way around, you're just going to sew, and this is how it looks after I pin everything together. Okay, and then you're just going to sew all the way around. Okay, once you sew, you should have something like this. Okay, you guys, super easy and simple. And like I said, people cannot tell this was handmade. I mean, you could tell a little bit, but you can't see the inside stitch. So yeah. Okay guys, so this is like the bonus part. I did use my sewing machine for this, but you could definitely do this by hand. It's a little harder, but yeah. So I want this to fit perfectly. So to turn this into a skirt, you just want to cut open the crouch part. You're gonna do the same thing to the back, but you want to make sure you cut it until it lays perfectly flat in the front like that. So once you cut it, you're good. I'm just gonna take a skirt that fits the way I like, and I'm just going to lay it on there and basically pin and sew that. Okay, and that is how it looks. Super simple. I hemmed the bottom, the back. That's how the back looks. It's super fitted, and that's really it. Okay guys, so this is how it turned out. I am so glad I decided to turn the top part into a fitted skirt, because I just love this matching bucket hat with the skirt outfit. Just turned out really good. I probably would never make a bucket hat by hand again because it just took way too long. My fingers are sore, bro. I won't be doing this. But other than that, it was super cute and fun. And that is really it, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you decide to create your own hand stitch bucket hat, please let me know. Tag me so I can repost it, you guys. And that is it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.